Hey folks, and welcome back to Glenn and Adrian's Rock Talk. That's Adrian.
And that's Glenn.
And today we're going to break ground on the channel with Donovan. He's one of those guys, when I first heard of him, I wasn't all that interested. Then I heard his first two albums, which are folk classics. It's just him and acoustic guitar, covering Bert Jansch and other guitar players of the day. And the first time I heard it, I was thunderstruck by them. I listened to them constantly in the car, just those two albums. It turns out he also was an innovator, and he made a ton of hits after that. Really not much of the folk stuff made it to hit status, but other things did. Today we're going to take a look at Hurdy Gurdy Man. That was a major hit. It was number 5 in the United States. It was also the title track to his 6th album, which came out in 1968. Now, I have a feeling that what we're going to watch today is a mime of some type because it's just him, but this is a song that was recorded with a full band. So that's my suspicion. But this comes from summer of 1968, and I thought historically it would still be interesting to watch. It is pretty good quality video, I must say. I'm not sure where it first came from, but I'm just glad it's here. So, Adrian, tell me about your experience with Donovan.
Well, I used to have an album of his called Catch the Wind. I think it was partially acoustic versions of some of its other songs.
That may well be one of the first albums. They went under different names.
Yeah. Also, I've seen a performance, a DVD called The Big TNT Show. It was a show that they played in Hollywood in 1965.
Interesting. Okay. Sure. It's also kind of psychedelic. He was kind of a psychedelic innovator. He's also the guy that wrote First There Is a Mountain, Then There Is No Mountain, which the Allman Brothers famously covered as their mountain jam. Why don't we take a look at this and discuss afterwards?
All right.
Thrown like a star in my vast sleep, I opened my eyes to take a peep, to find that I was by the sea, gazing with tranquility. Just then when the hurdy-gurdy man came singing songs of love. Then when the hurdy-gurdy man came singing songs of love. Hurdy-gurdy, hurdy-gurdy, hurdy-gurdy sang. Hurdy-gurdy, hurdy-gurdy, hurdy-gurdy sang. Hurdy-gurdy, hurdy-gurdy, hurdy-gurdy sang. Histories of ages past, unenlightened shadows cast down through all eternity, the crying of humanity. 'Tis then when the hurdy-gurdy man comes singing songs of love. Then when the hurdy-gurdy man comes singing songs of love. Hurdy-gurdy, hurdy-gurdy, hurdy-gurdy sang. Hurdy-gurdy, 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 hurdy-gurdy. Hurdy-gurdy, hurdy-gurdy, hurdy-gurdy sang. Hurdy-gurdy, 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 listen. Here comes a roly-poly man, and he's singing songs of love. Roly-poly, 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 poly, he sang. Hurdy-gurdy, 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 gurdy, he sang. Hurdy-gurdy, 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 gurdy, he sang.
This sounds like the recorded version. The fade out is kind of a giveaway.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, there's no other musicians. In fact, I was laughing a little. I mean, you got one guy up there with an acoustic guitar, and there's this lengthy fuzz electric guitar solo going on, and it's like, well, all right, just keep strumming. That's how you used to do it back then. Yeah, a few things I noticed. First of all, the prominent sitar. I noticed you happen to have yours right behind you there.
Yeah.
Why don't you point at it for the audience?
This is it here.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so that was one thing he used. Of course, the Beatles had used it, 2 years earlier, so it wasn't brand new as a concept, but he latched onto it, and I think he did a number of things with a sitar. That fuzz guitar, that really reminded me of what we hear in Satisfaction by the Rolling Stones, or I'm Looking Through You by the Beatles, or maybe it's Wait. So it had that early fuzz sound, like before distortion boxes really became a thing. Like this is before Super Fuzz Big Muff, I think. In fact, I think it's the same fuzz that you heard on Blue Cheer records that year, like Vincebus Eruptum. So it hadn't quite gotten to that point yet. We still had the early fuzzes. There are no credits for the musicians on the record.
One thing I'm wondering about this song is Donovan singing through a Leslie or vibrato?
I think that it's an effect, maybe not a Leslie, but a tremolo unit of some type.
Yeah.
I think it's also partially affected. I think some of it is just him going, Hurdy Gurdy, Gurdy Gurdy. He's like doing it like that, I think, partially. But some of it, I think, is also going through some effects. Yeah.
Yeah, you notice also at the beginning of the song he hums. This is probably listened for the vibrato or tremolo before he plays the guitar, so that the song's tempo kind of lines up with the vibrato.
Could be that that's what they did, yeah, at the time. Could very well be. I mean, these are early times for recording. Very likely he was using a 4-track machine. I think it came out pretty well. I understand why it was a hit.
The song makes you feel good.
Yeah. And by the way, there is an instrument called the Hurdy Gurdy, and I'm assuming the Hurdy Gurdy man was probably playing a Hurdy Gurdy. A Hurdy Gurdy is a string instrument, and it's actually got a hand crank on it. Like that there is a Hurdy Gurdy. Pretty wild, huh? And check that out. Whatever all is going on there. So it may also be an instrument that you can play like a piano as well. Maybe we take a quick look at this guy playing it. So that's what a Hurdy Gurdy is. So he's singing songs of love on that thing. So, I mean, that's pretty cool, especially for 1968.
Oh, do you see his shirt? That just screams 1968.
Donovan's, yeah.
Shirt.
Yeah, for sure. Well, yeah, so that was pretty interesting. It was cool to actually see him performing, even though it was a mime. It was still cool to see him back then.
Great song. I remember it from a long time ago.
All right, folks, well, why don't you let us know what you thought of this song? If you've ever heard it before, if you've ever seen the video before, if you've ever seen early Donovan before, if you ever saw him perform. I think he still performs from time to time. Let us know what your experiences have been with Donovan. If you have other suggestions for us, please leave those below. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. And if you enjoyed the presentation, please subscribe. All right, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll catch you on the next one. All right, take care, folks.
See you all later.